Hello, I'm Ricky Dean Widrig, and this is The Deep Dive. Today, we'll meet one of the people that makes our community so special. You may know them very well, or you may not know them at all, but either way, we're going to take a deep conversational dive with them and hear what makes them so unique and so interesting. So here we go on our deep dive of the day. Well, good morning and welcome to the show. We have a Dr. Paul Stumb, who's the 26th president of Cumberland University. And I really appreciate you taking the time out of your very busy schedule to join us today.
My privilege to be with you, Rick. Thank you.
Well, that's just awesome. Now, you need no introduction, but I'm going to give you one anyway and put my glasses on because I'm going to read this from a script. Prior to joining Cumberland University, Dr. Stumb enjoyed a successful career in the for-profit business sector, serving in a variety of increasingly responsible positions, including Director of Marketing and Business Development for Georgia Pacific Corporation, General Manager of American Corrugated, Vice President for Operations and owner of One Coast Network, and Regional Vice President for Curtis 1000. I know you also worked in the nuclear industry with Lockheed Martin, I believe, and 26 years in the Naval Reserves. They were lucky to have you, my friend. Wow.
I was lucky to be a part of that.
Really?
It was a great experience. It was.
Oh, and you visited like 50 countries?
I haven't counted exactly. I've been to a lot of countries. I probably have been to 50 countries. And a part of that was courtesy of the U.S. Navy. I was stationed in Okinawa, Japan, and then Rota, Spain when I was in active duty with the Navy. But a lot of that's been business travel too, and some of it's just been fun travel. Christy and I, my wife and I, just got back from Puerto Rico last week for a quick trip down there. So that was a nice. It was, in fact, just 3 days ago. Right now, at this time, I was swimming in the ocean. It was a lot warmer down there than it is here.
Well, tell us a little bit more about your adventure in Puerto Rico. What did you do? What did you see?
It was a work trip for me. I was speaking at a conference, but we had an extra day off. We went down a day early and got to have an extra day. And then the last day before we caught our flight, we had a flight that left at 3:00. So we spent the morning on the beach and out swimming in the ocean, which was really nice. Yeah. We were just in San Juan. We didn't get to visit any of the other islands, which I know was fun. You had in fact told me about one place that you and your family had visited.
Yes, Vieques Island, and it's one of the few places that has a bioluminescent bay. You can go out there and it's astonishing. You can't even describe it to people.
We read about that and it sounded fascinating. I think the time of year is not particularly good for that right now in February, but it would be. I'd like to do that on another visit down there.
Well, I know you'll make it. You set goals, and you're a goal-driven person.
I am a goal-driven person. That's true.
So a couple of other things just in your personal life. You, of course, you like to travel with Christy. In fact, you've done an inland boat cruise in Europe, which it sounded like a lot of fun, a good time.
Oh, yeah.
You're a wicked good racquetball player.
I consider myself a great racquetball player, but some of my opponents nevertheless find ways to beat up on me. So I love the game. I've been doing it for decades now, and it's one of the, I'm not nearly as fit as you are, but I work on it. And, getting exercise that you enjoy is not nearly as difficult. And I love playing racquetball, and it lets me run and get my heart rate up and sweat a little bit. And so I try to do that at least 2 or 3 times a week. In fact, I'm hoping to get to the gym later today if possible.
To play with Rusty. Is Rusty going to play with you today?
Where there are a group of guys, I'm going to say there are about 20 of us that regularly play together at the Jimmy Floyd Family Center. And so we have on Saturday mornings, it's just whoever shows up. During the week, we usually schedule times. And today I've got a group of guys that does not include Rusty, but he and I do play regularly together.
Yeah, he's a hoot.
Yeah.
Love him.
He's got a wicked little pinch shot too. He's got a great touch shot that gets just very frustrating to me.
I'll have to come and watch you play. I might try to play with you again. I'm not.
I remember you played with us once before.
Yeah,
I'm ready to do that again. Let's play for money.
It had to be low stakes. It had to be very low stakes.
I'm not gonna take you on in Taekwondo though. I'm not doing that again.
It's fair. I think it's fair for both
Yeah.
of us.
Okay.
Well, I want to finish this here a little bit. Uh, you are an advocate for nuclear energy, and I've heard you speak to that. And I want to have you come back and actually talk about the nuclear energy and why it's necessary in our future. The last time I heard you at Rotary, you were it's just astonishing, and you're a fervent advocate for it, and I admire that. But I want to know about you a little bit more. I know you're a scuba diver. You've done some cave diving, which is not for the faint of heart or the unintelligent. So I was amazed by that.
It may be for the unintelligent. That may be a good descriptor of what cave diving is. I'd say smart people probably wouldn't do cave diving, but
People with a brain would not do this, right?
yeah, that's right. That's right. People with a brain should not do what I've done relative to cave diving and several other avocations that I have. It's probably not very smart, but at least, and I have only one time, unlike you, jumped out of a perfectly good airplane. But I've not done that though to the extent. No, in fact, hardly anybody has to the extent that you have jumped out of perfectly good airplanes.
Well, we're all in the same brotherhood. We've intentionally left an aircraft in flight. Now, if it's unintentional, I guess that counts too. But you've intentionally left an aircraft in flight.
That's right. That's right. I've done it once, and you've done it how many times? Like
2000.
2,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's amazing.
Well, it struck a nerve in my body. It was just me, and I really enjoyed it. But let's talk about you.
All right. All right. Sorry.
So no, no, not at all. What's been on your mind recently? I was thinking about before the show started. What are you excited about? What makes you get out of bed today? What are you excited about right now?
You know, thank you for asking that question because I am so blessed in so many ways that I have, number one, a wonderful family. My parents are both, they'll be 90 years old this year, both still living, both in good health. And so I get to spend time with my parents, my children, my grandchildren. I have a lot of nieces and nephews, and I have two siblings I have an amazing extended family. And so Christy and I get to spend a lot of our time thinking about and caring about our immediate family, which is kind of cool. We get to be great. We have 8 grandchildren now. Our number
What?
8 was born just last month in January of this year. His name is Emilio, and
Yeah.
Emilio, yeah. And he, it's just really Christy more so than I, but she lives for those grandkids. And so we spend a lot of time thinking about how we can not only provide for our grandchildren, and we're helping to educate our grandchildren and providing for that, which we believe is important.
Absolutely.
But we also want to, be present in their lives. And we're so fortunate that all of our grandchildren live close by. 2 of them live in Nashville and 2 of them live in Mount Juliet, and the other 4 live right here in Lebanon. So we get to visit with them and see them a lot. And we think a lot about how we can be influential, hopefully in a positive way, in their lives. And we think about how we can impact their spiritual lives and their emotional lives and their academic lives. And that's rewarding for Christy and me to have that opportunity. So, that's the thing that more than anything else, I guess, motivates me. And really more so now. I mean, I'm nearing the end of my professional career. I'm 64 years old, and so I'll be 65 next year. I'm not ready to retire quite yet, and I love what I do vocationally. I really do. I love what I do. The privilege that I have of serving Cumberland University, but I will tell you, it's a challenging job every single day, and so I've thought more and more about retiring in the not too distant future, and even focusing more on family, because ultimately, vocations are important, and I feel like that I actually get to make a difference here in the lives of other people. I mean, we're in the process. Our vision here at Cumberland University, our published vision, is to transform lives through the power of education, and I think that's what we get to do every single day. I love to live into that vision, and it motivates me to get up and come to work in the morning. But at some point, you're more than just your vocation, I think. And so the thing that really sort of starts my engine in the morning is thinking about how I can be a better father, grandfather, uncle, cousin, son, spouse, and spiritual being.
What a remarkable statement you just made. I think that's something that we all should strive for. Uh, when we're at the end of our lives, we're not going to be talking about, gosh, I wished more, wish I'd worked more, but we'll be talking about the times we had with our grandchildren and our families and your lovely wife, Christy. And that
I'm
statement really suits you.
I'm fortunate like you that I have an awesome wife, and I love being with her. I mean, we like to be together. Actually, I'm
Go figure.
yeah, no, yeah. Well, I mean, I say that a little bit in jet, but I actually know people that they've been married a long time and they really don't enjoy being with their spouse, and I think that's so unfortunate. They try to look for ways to be away from their spouse. I mean, I know a bunch of couples that don't even live in the same city, and I just Christy and I, at least I will speak for me, I shouldn't speak for her, but I don't even like to be away from her when I have to do some business travel some. And just like this, when we were in Puerto Rico last week, that was a conference I was doing, but she was willing to go with me, and I loved it. It's so much better when she could be there.
Oh yeah, like that was a perfect scenario for both of you. And she is your advocate, and buddy, she's a gatekeeper for you.
She is, and she's a great. She also has she we're both kind of married to. In addition to each other, we're kind of married to Cumberland University. I
Yeah.
mean, we both are big champions for this institution and want to see it thrive and do well. And she, I think, has an important role here too. She moved her little primary care medical practice from Carthage, Tennessee, where she was born and raised. Well, actually, she was born up in Ohio, but quickly, as a young child, moved to Carthage, Tennessee, Smith County, and grew up there and went to school there. And that's an interesting story in and of itself. You really ought to have Christy on the show. She's a lot more interesting and a lot prettier than I am, but she has a fascinating story. I mean, she came from a family that she was first generation college student, and she went to school in a little tiny school that had two grades in the same room. She went to her first and second grade. She was in the same room. Well, and third and fourth grade in the same room, and fifth and sixth grade in the same. It was only 3-room schoolhouse, and so it was first through sixth grade and only had 3 rooms. And it was, that's the way. And then she put herself completely through school. Like I say, first generation college student. She paid for her undergraduate or her master's and doctoral education all on her own, without any help from her family. And anyway, she's a remarkable story. But long story short is she's now running the Cumberland University Health Clinic, as well as her own practice. And she treats all of our faculty, staff, and students for free. She doesn't charge anything.
My
She
God.
doesn't, it would just, and we've got, about, well, I mean, we've got over 3,000 students now and another, 500 faculty and staff. And so, I mean, she treats all those people, any needs they have, for free. It's a great
How's that
deal.
even possible? How's that?
Well, she's just a giving person. I mean, you can tell she's charitable because she's willing to be married to me, but, you know,
Well, she's bearing it really well. She's doing a good job. So, you mentioned her attributes, and I've always admired how thoughtful and kind and caring and compassionate you both are. You're just very open and very kind to people, and kindness is a great. It's underrated, and you both are just remarkable in that area.
there's an old expression that says, if you can be anything that you want to be, you should be kind. And I certainly know I have a long way to go in that regard. You could probably talk to a few of my employees. I could name a few. I think I'm always too kind, but I do aspire to that. I do want to be kind. I think it's what God calls us to do. And truthfully, I have a lot of mentors and people whom I admire. that are exemplars and models, role models for me in that regard. And you're one of those, Rick Whitrick. You are always thoughtful. You're always kind. You're always thinking of others. And it's interesting. One of the things that Christy and I do together every day is to pray together every morning before we leave to go to work. We pray together, and it's just and I'm not saying that to be, I don't want that to come off wrong. It's probably something I shouldn't even mention because I don't want to, it's not for show, but we believe that makes us, one, our marriage stronger, and two, it allows us to take just a few minutes and think about the needs of others. We pray almost every day to put the needs of others ahead of our own and to think about how we can help other people that day. Because I really think that's ultimately what we're called to do.
Yes, sir.
And I know I don't do that very well. I promise you I don't. I'm selfish and I worry about things I shouldn't worry about, and I major on minors sometimes, and I mean we all have faults, but I have many. But anyway, we try.
Well, the fact that we're aware that we have faults, that we are flawed individuals, the awareness is a start. And then if you don't have that awareness, you're doomed. You're doomed. So just having that, and you mentioned that I know you weren't bragging about praying together, and I think that is delightful. What a great way to start the day with your best friend, and maybe. I think Don and I might have to consider that. I think that's a great way to kick the day off.
It wasn't an idea that we created or invented. It was something that somebody else shared with me years ago, and so we've just made it. We're just in the habit of doing it now, and it doesn't take a lot of time. I mean, usually it's just a couple of minutes, but it kind of gets our day started right. It's kind of like that book. Oh, it was Admiral McCraven wrote a book. I don't remember the title of the book, but it was something about making your bed. Have you read that book?
Absolutely. And I do make my bed every day.
Do you?
Absolutely.
Well, that's good. And he says in that book, he says you should start out by making your bed every day, because then if you accomplish nothing else, then you've done something valuable and worthwhile at the beginning of the day. And I will admit to you, I don't make my bed every day. I should, and I kind of pull it up, and I do it.
You're a naval commander, dude.
I know. I promise you, it wouldn't pass muster in the Navy. When I was in the Navy, I did better. I was a lot more squared away. I would shine my shoes. I had my gig line straight. I was squared away when I was in the Navy. But I retired 12 years ago from the Navy, and I'm still doing it's interesting though. I do have some habits that even revert back to the Navy. When in the Navy, you have to do what they call physical readiness training, and you do it every day. I know you work out all the time. I don't do that enough, but I still do push-ups and sit-ups almost every day. And I got in that habit when I was in the Navy, and that's been a good habit. So I think there are habits that make a difference in your lives and in your life, and I'm trying to inculcate more good habits into my life.
So you just bust out a few before you head out the door, or you jump out in Memorial Hall there and get a couple?
No. I do my push-ups and sit-ups first thing in the morning, every morning, or right after I get up. And I've also started adding to that routine because my daughter got me into it. I now do wall sits. Are you familiar with those?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Are you quivering before you get done?
I am. My legs are quivering, and I'm going snow skiing next week, and I know I don't have the leg strength that I used to have. So I started about 6 weeks ago doing wall sits, and I think I'm going to keep that. I've done them every day for the last 6 weeks, and I think I'm going to keep doing. I don't do a lot. I do two-minute wall sits.
Yeah,
so that's not very much.
That's a long time.
That's not very much. I mean, I need to do more. But my leg strength is just not what it used to be, and I've got to get that back.
Yeah, Christy skis as well, obviously.
Yeah, she does. She doesn't enjoy skiing as much as I do, but she goes with me, and we'll be out there for a week, and she'll ski a couple of days. We're going out with another couple, and he loves to ski, and he and I have a lot of competition. She's told me to back down. I don't have to beat him, but we're very competitive on the slopes.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
We're going to Summit County. We're staying at Keystone, but we'll ski Breckenridge and Keystone and Arapahoe Basin.
Yeah, that's good skiing right there. And they
Yeah,
get a lot of ski. They'll probably have a good base this year.
they do. It's like a 52-inch base. I looked at it last week and it's still snowing out there. It'll be good conditions, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
good.
think everything's open too. Those are all. Arapahoe Basin is a tough mountain, but Breckenridge and Keystone are both. They've got everything from real easy cruising blues and greens to some really steep mogul double blacks that I don't do anymore. My knees just can't take the moguls. But
Did you do double blacks before?
oh, I have. Yeah, there's in
Dang.
fact, Arapahoe Basin has one slope called Palavicini. It has its own separate lift, and it's the Palavicini lift. And when you get to the top of that lift, you get off the lift and you're on a cliff. I mean, it's a cliff. And the first time I went down, it was with my son. He made me do it. And after my third fall, I made him go behind me just to pick up my stuff on the subsequent falls. I mean, it was just, I
You were
was
having
hooked.
a yard sale, right?
That's right. I was having a yard sale, losing skis and poles and everything else. It was,
Oh, well, that's amazing. If you get on that lift, you better know what you're doing and where you're going.
it's exactly right. You better know what you're doing. It's tough.
Uh,
Are you a skier?
uh, yeah, I'm a blue. I'm a strong blue.
Yeah, good. That's
But
what I am now.
yeah, I have no, well, I was gonna say I don't have any desire to do black. That's not true. But I'm using my brain trying to.
There you go. That's smart. That's smart.
Hey,
It's like not doing cave diving.
mean, that's some good stuff, though. I mean, that's
Yeah,
you're living there. You're in the moment. You're not
you
thinking
are.
about your anything else. You're right in the moment when you're doing these activities, and that's what we all strive for.
We do. It gets your adrenaline flowing, doesn't it?
It does. It
Yeah.
absolutely does.
The
And
other thing that does that for me now is flying my little airplane. I've got a little single engine plane that I like to, now I don't like to fly in bad weather conditions, but I've been in bad weather conditions where you get into them unintentionally and you get into some storms and you're having to dodge around and kind of, you're getting bounced around a lot. And that can be a little bit harrowing at times.
well, that means you're a an IFR pilot, so you're squared away there for sure.
I am an IFR rated pilot. And the problem is that piloting skills are uh, it's just like everything else in life. You need to work on those skills. You need to practice. And I don't practice enough I mean, I'm proficient and I'm current and I have all I'm legal, but it's just like everything else. If you practice more, you get better at it and you get more comfortable and more adept. And I need to spend more hours flying.
And they're enjoyable, your hours flying. You
They are, and they're practical too. I've got two meetings coming up, both in Kansas City, in the next few weeks. And so it's so much easier for me to jump on my little plane, which is 2 minutes literally from my house and
Yeah.
fly to Kansas City. And I can, then I can go when I want, I can leave when I want. And it frankly takes me a lot less time than driving down to B&A and getting on a commercial flight, even though those planes fly a lot faster than I fly. By the time you wait and go through security and wait at the gate and it's quicker for me to get there in my own plane. And I love that.
That is spectacular. So when did you learn to fly? Did you learn in the Navy?
No, I was not a pilot in the Navy. I knew a bunch of pilots. They're all really cocky,
No,
deservedly. Yes,
no
as
way.
long as they fly. I got to do a F-22 simulator one time when I was in the Navy, which was really cool. That's an amazing aircraft. And I have my niece is married to a Marine pilot who flies the F-35,
No
uh,
way.
which is, yeah. And they're in Yuma, Arizona, I think is where they're living now. And anyway, he's a neat guy and also an amazing pianist. He has a lot of talents, but I digress. I didn't learn to fly until I was an adult. I started, Christy and she gave me, now I take it back. I gave her 1 year. This was almost 20 years ago, but I gave Christy as a Valentine's Day present one time a free sort of trial flight in a little single engine plane with an instructor.
What?
So she sat up in the left seat and with an instructor in the right seat. I sat in the back seat And I just went along for the ride. And she flew the plane, and the instructor was telling her how to do it, and she enjoyed it a little bit, but I really enjoyed it. And so when she landed the plane, he said, "Do you want to sit up here?" And so I said, "Yeah." So we swapped seats, Christy and I did, and she sat in the back, and I sat up front. And I said, "This is really pretty cool." And so as a result of that, I ended up signing up for lessons and got my pilot's license, and then my instrument rating, and then my own airplane. And she now just goes along for the ride. She never did get her. She wasn't that interested in it, but I was, and I've enjoyed it for almost 20 years now.
Well, it's technical and it's a skill set, and you are attracted to something that has those attributes, right? I mean, that's
Yeah, I guess that's so. I never really thought about that, but yeah, I mean, I like to achieve things that are not necessarily easy to do. I mean, it's a challenge. You got to pass some written exams and some practical exams, and you got to know a little bit about what you're doing. And flying airplanes involves a lot of math, and I'm good at math. I mean, that's one of the things God blessed me with, I guess. I've always been sort of partial to mathematics, and so anyway, that's what I'm an engineer by training.
really
Yeah.
okay. At UT, or where did you? I know you went to UT.
So, so I have 3 degrees, and I have a master's degree in education, which I did subsequent to getting into this higher ed gig. But all 3 of my academic degrees prior coming through school were in engineering. I did my undergraduate in engineering at Auburn University, then a master's and a PhD at UT Knoxville.
And then you were the dean of the Labrey School of Business and Science. If I got that wrong, let me know. But
No, that's right. It's pronounced Labrie. Ed Labrie is a big benefactor of this university. He's an alum, and he started a business. He was one of the original guys in the credit card processing business, and he was really smart. Is really smart, and started a company that did credit card processing when it was before, early on, and did really well with that business. And subsequent to that, he's done really well in several other businesses, including some real estate development. He now owns a vineyard out in California, and grows grapes and makes wine. And he also has a home in Memphis, and a home down in Florida. So he's a neat guy. And he's the namesake for the Labrie School of Business. It's now the Labrie School of Science, Technology, and Business. So we had under my purview there the sciences and mathematics, technology, IT, all that, and then the business school. Because after I got out of engineering school, and left Oak Ridge in the nuclear industry, I went into business and operated and owned and ran several different businesses, and enjoyed that.
you're a fascinating individual, and I could listen to you talk all day long.
You're kind. You're like I said, you're the epitome of kindness, Rick Whitrick. You really are.
That's very kind of you again. And I know your time is really our time is up here, and I know you have a busy schedule today. And I just really want to thank you for honoring us, taking the time out of your schedule. I know you are so busy. Every moment of your day is spoken for, and so thank you.
Thank you. I'm sure I'm busy because I like being busy. But you're right. I mean, everybody's busy, and it's some days are more challenging than others. And I'm grateful though that you kind of asked me to do this and gave me an opportunity to take a little respite from the routine busyness of my day to enjoy. You're so easy to talk to, and it was a fun conversation. Thanks for letting me be a part.
Thank you, sir, and I hope your day is helpful and hopeful and beneficial and all those things.
I'll
Hope
do
to
my
see
best
you
to make
soon.
that.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Rick. Thank you. Bye-bye.
As we wrap up another insightful episode of the Deep Dive, I want to express my sincere gratitude to the excellent guests we had today and also our loyal listeners. Special thanks go to our sponsors, Fire Pit Art, the best fire pits on the planet, and Powder Coat Art for high quality metal powder coating. If you've enjoyed this, please connect with us on social media and tell your friends how much you enjoyed the program. And always remember, when you want to find your way home, it's always bubbles up. Thanks. Have a good day.